Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we had some, I would guess, weather interruptions. So there is a little bit of a start to this reading, and I'll go back and link it in the comments for you, but it's the most recent live stream, of course. And I do just want to call myself out because the thumbnail I chose is Are They Friend Zoned? And this is about a love bombing, like super manipulative person from your past who feels like they've been able to come back around and kind of use the same games on you in the past, but they've found you to not be receptive this time around. So I just want to like kind of put a little, what's it called, asterisk on it and say it may be for you that it's not even on the table to offer friendship to this individual. But I do feel like this person's ability to charm you is woefully inept, not going to work on you at this point. So it's friend or like no contact, just to clarify that. Let's call in spirit with a little bit of Winchento. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I got to say my hellos before I can't see the screen. Hello, Co-Creates. Yes. Hello, Upper Echelon. Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Rainbow Warrior. Hello, Michael. How we all doing? Did I say hello to Peggy? Hello, GP. Hello, Bitchy Tata. Thank you for being patient with me. I was totally talking to myself on that last like Frozen live stream for a little bit. I get into it, like I'm a little nervous that maybe I lost a little bit. So I'm going to try to do justice to a little bit of a recap here for you. We start off with the Six of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Six of Swords in the reverse. Somebody from your past coming back around, possibly with a gift or at least some sort of like, I'm going to like compliment you. Oh, you look so good. That kind of thing. But they are met with nope. This is not going to just be like smoothed over easily. This is not a repeat. And it's because you have accepted or gone through some healing, and therefore it's easier for you to see through the illusion. You know that this is somebody who feels out of place or doesn't necessarily know who they are. They might have shown you two distinct faces, somebody who's much more interested in connecting with you, and another person who is cold and unfeeling. But this is a person who sabotages relationships when they get too close or when they feel like somebody is getting too close to them. They pull back. They might ghost. They might just become difficult to reach or not want to see you in person. And this is because they don't feel like they fit in. They doubt whether or not you would love them for who they truly are. And with the Devil card coming out multiple times, they do like to use manipulative tactics to keep you kind of like on the back burner. And they are very elusive. They don't like to tell you exactly who they are, or they may even have been dishonest with you in the past. The example or analogy I used was this person is kind of like a heated blanket. Yes, it could be cozy, but it could also like burn you. This is how they view emotions, I think, but also how you could potentially view their way of interacting with you, because it is not a reliable temperature setting. We'll put it that way. Hello, Blooded Fury. What a name. I like it. Hello, welcome. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hello, Realm of Bedlam. Meow. But if you're, I do offer personal readings if you'd like, but this is a general reading. Exactly. Renee, I love your comments. They're insightful. Exactly, GP. Got to learn that lesson, right? So we have an appreciation, or I guess an acknowledgement that this is someone who has tried to interact with you in a romantic sense, but failed when it came to being consistent, failed when it came to communicating how they felt, because there's a level of discomfort that they feel with themselves, or perhaps whether they're worthy of love, that creates this barrier. And it means you only get little flashes of who this person is, or what they feel for you, or what a future with them might be like, because they are kind of unreliable. 10 of Wands in the reverse, Ace of Wands in the reverse. They're feeling like they've missed an opportunity, or that they've really messed up this time, that there could be a pretty serious argument that you had, or a line that they crossed. They're not entirely confident that you have any interest in talking to them again. So if you do decide to block them, if you do decide there's really no avenue that makes sense, like bringing back to life, they know why, but they're still going to try. 7 of Wands in reverse. So just to call out, in this Egyptian tarot, not to mention also in the first 3 cards, but in this Egyptian tarot pull, where I have pulled 13 cards, I have pulled all 4 of the 7s from the minor arcana. So all that would be left is the Chariot. But 7 is absolutely an important number here. And I do feel like this is because there has been specific timing at play in this connection. You've learned a lot about yourself. You've learned about this person, even as they tried to hide from you. But this is, I think, an important pivot or part of the story where you learn to protect yourself against how they operate. Yeah. How do I explain that? Let's say you have a habit every day after you get home from work, you go to the kitchen and you make yourself a nice little afternoon treat. Maybe for some of you, it's a cup of tea. Maybe for some of you, you like lefse. Maybe for some of you, it's a cookie or some fruit. But you do this every day and you do it for yourself and it makes you happy. And whenever this person stops by your place, infrequent though it may be, they have a tendency to sit down right at your little kitchen table and they take your fruit plate. They take your lefse. They take your tea. They don't ask. You don't offer. Well, maybe you do offer. They take something from you every time that they interact with you. And it could be just like a sense of happiness, or an ability to focus, or even just like a hope that this person's going to treat you the right way this time. Hello, Garrett. How are you doing? Hello, Toby. Welcome. Yeah, you got to pay attention to those little signs, right? There is something here that you have that is valuable, my friend, and I can refer to it as a little fruit plate or a cup of tea, but we know that it is much more valuable than that. It is your energy, and it is a blessing upon people that encounter you, because there is something genuine and good about you that benefits those that are around you. When this person is perfectly comfortable being manipulative enough to just stop by for that lovely cup of tea or that fruit plate, but then they leave before asking you how your day was, that's not a relationship. That is nowhere near symbiotic. It is not bi-directional. It is me, right? Which makes sense because they're coming through as the devil card, which is about fear. It is about obsession. And they like to find a way to keep people coming back for more, or being a bit obsessed with them. So that's why they have this in and out, like unreliable or prone to ghosting kind of energy. I'm glad I make you laugh, Laura. Hello, how's it going, Atala? So we've got ex-partner, not completely over a past relationship. I do feel this is saying your ex, or this King of Cups from your past, the double energy, they are not completely over the connection that they have with you. You might be over them, though. I think you're ready for something new. I think you're pivoted in a different direction, or I mean, there could be somebody who's already captured your attention, but I think this is saying, I'm not going to be like caught up with that same old love. All right, so there's a couple ways to read this. Initially, I do think that this is a call out, or it's like tied to this King of Cups, who might see things or believe things about you or your connection that are not true, but are founded instead in their fear of rejection or fear of abandonment. But I think it could also be that at a point you may have been a little bit like delusional yourself. Don't hate me. We've all been there. I think you saw the beautiful things in this person much more readily than you were willing to see the red flags or the drawbacks. And those things you just kind of like tucked away for a little bit. You wanted to focus on how different this love felt, because I do think there is a strong connection here. The issue is that the person on the other end of this connection doesn't seem to understand how to deal with emotions, how to deal with romance, how to love in like a reliable, like steady, like King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles kind of way. I like it. So we've got children. Children are involved or soon will be. We could have some decisions being made that are impacted by childhood trauma or impacted by someone's desire to start a family. This is about, I think, priorities, but also about scars. What have we learned from? What shaped or molded us? Why do we love the way we love? Why do we sabotage relationships? I do feel like this King of Cups, Devil energy probably had some childhood issues that they have not dealt with that impact how they connect or struggle to connect with others. Exactly. And no one can fault you for that. That's a thing that happens, right? I'm going to tell you that years ago, when I was an assistant manager, I had my favorite boss ever, Jason, taught me a very important lesson, which was when we were interviewing candidates to work at our store, I had a tendency to be ever the optimist and be like, oh, well, this person's great because of A, B, C, D, E. And this person's great because of, and he's like, Carmen, I'm going to stop you right there. We're not going to talk about why these people are great. We're going to identify the biggest weakness for each of them. And that's how we choose who we hire. And I was like, that's so mean. He's like, yeah, but that's how you figure out who's going to be an actual good fit. I don't care if somebody lives close. That's not actually an asset to me in real terms. I want to know who's going to work well with the team. I want to know who's maybe going to have an issue in terms of showing up consistently. Like, what's the drawback? What's the risk for me? And then we look at the positives. And I was like, okay. Now, fast forward a few years and I've decided maybe I should apply that to other things, right? Social relationships. Now, am I saying you should be a curmudgeon who never deals with anybody? No, but sometimes we need to be a little bit less of an optimist and a little bit more of a realist when it concerns whether or not people are giving us reasons to pass, right? No thanks, you wear Crocs. I'm just kidding, kind of. So we have selectiveness that now impacts the King of Cups, and they are surprised because they thought they had access to you. Justice in the reverse, 5 of Cups. It's like, I didn't do anything that I didn't do before. What's different this time? They feel like they've exhibited the same behavior and gotten a different response from you. It's like, come on now, you've forgiven me for that before. Oh, yeah, but see, like, here's the weird thing. My forgiveness is like this little punch card, and if you get too many punches on it, then it either turns into like a punch in the face or like me ignoring you. You can choose. Not really. I'm not a violent person and I don't encourage it. But like really though, like how many times did you expect me to be like, oh yay, another one? No, we're done here. You know? Got over it, right? You're entitled to that. You're entitled to be like, actually, that was just like one too many times that you made me listen to Backstreet Boys. So I think we're done here. Yeah. Feel like I should have a Backstreet Boys song reference to back that up. But all I can think of is everybody. So I don't know, maybe that's just super relatable. Hello, Carl. How are you doing? Hello, Khalil. I hope you're having a good day. So we've got the Queen of Cups. This is, I think, you doing right by yourself. I think you have loved a lot of people in a very kind and genuine way and not gotten that love back in the same way. I think you have been patient. I think you've been kind, just as the Bible says. And yet, you felt like this person didn't really appreciate that. Maybe there was very little difference how they treated you and how they treated people that were disloyal or lacking integrity. Maybe they made promises that were really painful to discover had been broken. But you looked at like freeing yourself from this connection as an act of love for yourself. You cannot sacrifice your own well-being, your own emotional well-being for the love of another person and expect that to be a healthy connection. If you are in a relationship with somebody who claims to love you and you love them, there should be an attempt to interact with each other in respectful and loving ways that lift each other up and encourage each other. And you felt like it was a sacrifice when you connected with this person. Like you paid the cost. You always paid for dinner. You know what I mean? I'm glad to hear that, Khalil. Yes. Thank you, Rainbow Warrior. So we've got the King of Cups in the reverse and the Five of Wands. I think you got to a point where you looked at this connection. This King of Cups and Queen of Cups, by the way, are divine counterparts. So there is actually a connection here. But here we have the King of Cups coming out in the reverse, right? Don't spend too much time thinking about the gender here. This is energy that I'm reading. You have freed yourself because you've been able to say, you love me. I can tell, or I have seen that you love me, but I can't always be here trying to look for signs of that. If it is not readily apparent, then that doesn't mean that I keep looking for it. It means I need to probably acknowledge that you can't communicate it or you can't express it. So emotional maturity has become more important to you, and your willingness to wait for them to deal with that has, I think, kind of grown thin. If you're not going to be comfortable with those emotions that you feel for me, then I can't expect you to be consistent with me. I can't expect you to act on them in a mature way. So I think you've drawn back or like withdrawn your willingness to pursue something exclusive with them or, want to build a life with them. You've decided that you need somebody who's more comfortable expressing that, more comfortable being there day in, day out, and not afraid of those emotions, right? Hello, John. How are you doing? The Star and the Ace of Swords in the reverse. I do think for many of you, there's a big question in your mind as to whether or not this person lied to you. I do think they lied to you about things that made it easier for them to stay hidden or safe, if you will, from you. But they did feel something for you. I do feel like they daydreamed about things being different with you, but the fact that you kept discovering things they were hiding or things they lied about, it's like, why should I trust you on the other things if you're lying about that thing, or if you feel like you have to hide about, what happened over here. Whereas they might have had some strange, like, kind of structure in their mind. It's okay to lie about these things. These things don't matter, but I'll be honest about this, right? Yeah, I think you chose to elevate your expectations, rethink what love would look like, and stop chasing that potential and look for, who somebody really is right now, who somebody is as far as their pattern of behavior. And you started to realize that you were a little bit overly forgiving for this person to continue to have that same pattern, right? This is the Potero. Are you disappointed? So we've got the moon. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. You have come through as the Queen of Cups because you do have this loving energy that pulls people to you. You may have rejected a decent amount of people while trying to see if this person could figure out their ish. See if they could learn that language of love. But you also have, I think, pretty good understanding that there's a strong potential for something else to work in your life, for you to experience love if this person can't figure out how to communicate about it. Weep now or nevermore. The Ten of Quills, which is the Ten of Swords. This talks about an ending. I think this person's wondering whether or not they need to actually show you who they are. Okay, so my tricks don't work on you. Okay, so you don't want to be love bombed. Maybe I've actually lost you. What if I actually just be myself? Suddenly a corner was turned. A blaze of light burst upon our sight. This is the Two of Candles. Planning, taking a different direction. This is the moment where you see if this person has the cojones to try a different approach, if they're willing to, be more authentic and open. And I think you know that. If they don't fight for it, if they don't try to set aside that fear, then you're willing to let it go and move forward with the Fool in mind, right? This new energy, this starting over, new chapter. What else do we have? Seeking, soul searching, treasures, uncover, dormant gifts and answers. Magic, alchemy, shaman, worlds, orbs, fairies, and trees. See, you have this magic. People get excited to know more about you. Some of you have a very captivating, presence. You might be particularly attractive or have like a really melodious voice, but there's somebody else here who's appreciating you for the more like elevated elements of your character, feeling like you are mature or feeling like you've been through a lot and pulled it off. Breakthrough, milestone, epiphany, climax, advancement, and quantum leap. So by rejecting this pattern, you are changing quite a lot in your life. There's a timeline shift. Extraterrestrial, galactic, star races, light codes, ancient, and origins. You've rejected something that for many people is difficult to reject. You've chosen something that is much more meaningful instead of falling for an illusion. This is the Love Oracle. What else do we have? Memories, reminiscing, dwelling, bittersweet, commitment, marriage, promises, fidelity. Divine masculine. So this is about somebody trying to figure out if they should really try to be in an exclusive relationship with you, if they should finally admit that what they want is a commitment with you. But I fear that it may be a little too late for many of you. Yeah, they want another chance. Reconciliation, making amends, opportunity. They know that if they actually get an opportunity to make this work, it depends upon their being able to be emotionally intimate. They may have a secret they have to tell you. I'm very focused on the word confiding. This is either I have never told anyone this part of my life, or I've never shared like this thing that happened to me. And they feel that's a really important thing to somebody understanding who they are. Or there's something that they specifically hid from you, and they feel like if they don't share that now and it comes out later, it would be a deal breaker. Like they have to tell you something in order for this emotional intimacy thing to actually be achieved. Nourish, self-growth, self-focused, and soul-finding. They've seen you focus on yourself and really make a difference in your life, not getting caught up in the drama of other people, doing right by yourself. They feel like you're glowing, or there's something that has changed about your physical appearance. You just look happier. Hello, Jenny. How are you doing? Hello, Jim. How's your day? But they know you view them as a ghost, somebody who just runs from their emotions. Now they've become the chaser because you've decided that you're not going to participate in that dynamic anymore. They feel your resistance. And it's making like this shift in energy, your focus pivoting towards something new. It's making them really want to be with you physically. I feel like for many of you, it's kind of a claiming thing. They want to, like, they might be a little bit possessive of you. Yeah, GP is pretty great, isn't it? The worst is when I drop them on the floor and then knock over the bookshelf stuff. We're not going to do that. We've got the commitment card, long-term relationship, single, children. So we've got our Queen of Cups individual, whoever you are. You've got the ability to connect with somebody in a mature way as far as emotional intimacy. You do want to have commitment. If you don't, it's not your reading. And this person's insistence upon being at a distance or being single, independent, doesn't really align. And so you've gotten to the point where you're wondering, okay, well then does it matter if I love this person or if they love me if the way they want to love me is so drastically different from how I feel I deserve to be loved. So maybe what I need to do is accept that I am, in fact, still single. For many of you, it's because you have children, you want to set a good example for them, or you want to start a family. What else do we have? Pressure cooker, rage, ready to explode, crickets, silence, non-action, anxiety. So this person comes back around and they do their same little song and dance, which is, hey, I want to have a little bit of interaction with you where we love each other, or maybe we get physical and then I'm going to disappear again. Nothing's going to change, but they do this. They try to get in communication with you and you're not interested. You might reject them. You might say very little. You might just tell them, no, you can't come over. But they don't get the reaction they wanted. It's certainly not the reaction they expected. And they realize maybe this last time around, things really did escalate for you in terms of whether or not you could forgive or move forward with this person. And now they're sitting here and they're sweating a little bit. Oh, okay. So maybe I really have done it this time. Maybe I really crossed the line. Maybe you are moving on. Yeah, exactly. I love it when the Aqua Legends are here together. It's great. So we've got denial, not facing the truth, irrational. Yeah. And we're talking about the avoidant, right? This is somebody who didn't want to accept that maybe at some point you would get over it. You would not really want to participate in this charade or this like musical chairs, whatever it is. And that they don't seem to have a problem with what it does to you, that they don't seem to really appreciate that they hurt you, that this breaks your heart, that this lets you down, that you're not going to continue to just sign up for this, right? But they might be realizing that now. This is the Hidden Truth Oracle. Some OGs up in here. I like it. All right, so we've got, I know I was a distraction from your pain. I don't react when people mention you. This is somebody who has an ability to be quite cold or show very little emotion. They do feel emotion when people mention you, or even if they just hear somebody say a name that is like yours or is yours. This is something that they don't really want to face. So they do try to keep themselves busy or do what they can to kind of ignore this. But you're an escape from their life. And when they hit a problematic period in their life, the first thing they want to do is go to you for solace, which is very, it's using people, right? You have this healing energy, you have this loving energy, and they want it without giving anything to you in return. So now they're having to face the fact that perhaps I've done this a few too many times. Perhaps I have minimized, how this person actually does mean a lot to me. And now they're saying they're not available. Now they're not interested in seeing me. They're not interested in talking to me. I'm not available. Well, dang, because I wanted to feel that way again. I wanted you to make me feel all happy again because I've had a rough day. And then I was going to disappear again. But you're saying we can't do that anymore? Oh, no. I feel you leaving me behind. I remember every detail of that day. So they do think they have an idea of what may have been the straw that broke the camel's back, the real reason that you're ready to just kind of let go of this and move on. but they are sweating. They are a bit anxious because it feels to them like you really are letting them go. You really are accepting some different path on your life than, or in your life than maybe initially you thought. Hello, May Marie. How are you doing? You guys are funny. This is the Meme Cat Major Arcana. So I feel like this is going to be your energy. Normally, I would rather see these in the upright, but I think I kind of get it. So we've got the World in the reverse and the Chariot in the reverse. And what I'm getting in my mind is just like an exasperated, like, whatever, like, can't go that way. Like a tree is blocking the highway that you needed to go. And you're like, all right, we'll go a different way. I'm not going to let this just completely like screw my day. Like sometimes things happen. Sometimes it works out. Like I remember wanting to go to a particular restaurant to get something that I had gotten a million times before and they happened to be closed. And so I tried a different restaurant and it was amazing. I would tell you about it, but it still breaks my heart that this restaurant has already closed down. So you wouldn't be able to go find it anyways. But this is like, okay, I guess like that's just like not the path forward. So if that's not the path forward, let's find something else. I don't feel like you're giving up. I don't feel like you're like, love is just a waste of time. I think it's more so that you're accepting of the patterns that you saw. I think you understand the root cause of it because you have the devil coming out. You know that there's fear of rejection or fear of abandonment. This is true. That is pretty legendary. You guys are funny. Death in the reverse. The thing is this person really feels like your connection will never end. They may try to wait you out. Like maybe you'll date somebody else, but you'll still come back to me. I don't know that this person will ever stop loving you. I think for them, honestly, I think you have the ability to connect and be happy and have a very strong spiritual connection with somebody else, another soulmate. But I feel for this person, you are it. Like either I am with you or nobody else, because like nobody else does it for me like that. They see you as like a diamond in the rough, 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. They don't feel like there would be another person that would potentially tempt them to be in a significant relationship. So you've got them really thinking about it. You've got them wanting to do these things. No one else really has ever gotten them to that point before. So, I mean, that's an accomplishment, but so is being able to accept the reality of a connection. So you've got to use your intuition. I feel like you're on the right path. I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And thank you for the likes and the subscribes. Deals.